Before we go any further, I want you to do something for me. Comment below and tell me, where are you watching from? Your city, your country. I want to know the men who are walking this path with me today. You are not alone. And this channel Wellness Over 60 is here for you. Now breathe in through your nose. Slowly. Hold and out, because what I'm about to share with you is something most men don't know, and those who do often don't take seriously enough. But after today, you will. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why your body doesn't respond the way it used to? Why your energy dips faster? Why your desire feels quieter? Why even when the mind is willing, the body doesn't follow? It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're broken. It's because your body is aging, and that process demands support, not silence. And the truth is, nature has already given us some of the tools we need to face that process with strength, not fear. You just haven't been shown how to use them. One of those tools is honey. Yes, honey. Not the kind buried in sugar-laden cereals or baked into ultra-processed desserts. I'm talking about pure, raw, unfiltered honey, the kind that comes straight from the hive, rich in enzymes, minerals, antioxidants, and compounds that science is only just beginning to fully respect. I know what you're thinking. Doctor, how can honey, something so sweet, have anything to do with erections, with vitality, with testosterone? And I'll tell you exactly how. Because honey is not just a sugar. It's not just a syrup. It's a living medicine used for centuries by warriors, healers, and kings. A gift from bees that reaches far beyond taste. It nourishes your blood. It calms your nerves. It supports your hormones. And when used correctly, it can play a role in rebuilding the very foundation of your manhood. As a urologist, I've spent decades studying the physiology of the aging male. I've seen what happens when circulation declines, when cortisol rises, when inflammation blocks your body's ability to feel strong, focused, and connected. And I've also seen what happens when men reintroduce foods that support life, not deplete it. Honey can lower oxidative stress. It can fuel nitric oxide production. It can nourish testosterone pathways. It can soothe digestion, balance blood sugar, and improve sleep qualities, especially when used at the right time, in the right amount. I'm not saying honey is a magic solution. I'm saying it's a key, and when you learn how to use that key, it opens doors to energy, clarity, and desire that you may have thought were long gone. But most men never get that chance. They drown in misinformation. They're told to give up, to accept decline, to silence their needs. And that silence becomes suffering. Quiet, hidden, unspoken suffering. I don't want that for you. I want you to rise again, not recklessly, but intentionally. Not like the man you were at 25, but like the man you're becoming now, wise, experienced, and still full of fire. And that's what this video is about. Over the next few blocks, I'll walk you through how honey impacts your testosterone, your circulation, your stress, and your performance. I'll show you how to choose the right kind, how to pair it with other powerful foods, and how to make it a sacred part of your morning that wakes up not just your body, but your sense of power. This is your moment. This is your return. And it begins with something simple, something ancient, something golden. It begins with honey. Let's begin where the body speaks loudest at, the level of your hormones, your blood, your desire. You see, when a man crosses 60, his body begins a quiet transformation. Testosterone begins to decline, not suddenly, not catastrophically, but slowly, consistently. It's not just a hormone, it's your vitality. It influences how you think, how you move, how you recover, how you desire. And here's the truth. Low testosterone doesn't always mean something is wrong, but it does mean that support is essential. And the most effective support often comes from nitrogenous, consistent, and biologically aligned with how you were designed to thrive. Honey is one of those supports. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about processed table honey, the kind you find in plastic bears on supermarket shelves. I'm talking about raw, organic, unfiltered honey harvested with care, rich in enzymes, amino acids, trace minerals, and powerful antioxidants. This honey isn't just sweet, It's medicinal, and science is beginning to confirm what traditional cultures have known for centuries, that honey, taken in small daily doses, can influence the very foundation of masculine vitality. Studies have shown that raw honey increases luteinizing hormone, which plays a critical role in signaling your body to produce more testosterone. It's like flipping a natural switch without synthetic hormones, without injections, without side effects, and even more. Honey helps protect the Leydig cells in your testes, the cells responsible for testosterone production, from oxidative damage. That means honey doesn't just stimulate hormone output, it protects your ability to keep producing it long term. But it goes further. Honey is also rich in boron, a trace mineral directly linked to free testosterone levels in the bloodstream. Boron helps reduce the amount of testosterone that binds to proteins, meaning more of your testosterone remains active and available to do what it's meant to do: support your libido, maintain your muscle mass, stabilize your mood, and fuel your confidence. And while we're talking about hormones, let me remind you of something equally important: estrogen balance. Yes, even in men, as we age, some testosterone gets converted into estrogen. That's normal. But too much of that conversion can lead to imbalances: fatigue, belly fat, irritability, loss of motivation. The antioxidants in raw honey help regulate that process, keeping your hormonal ecosystem in harmony. Not too high, not too low, just balanced. Now, you might be wondering, Doctor, isn't honey just sugar? Won't it raise my blood sugar or make me gain weight? Here's the key: context and timing. Unlike processed sugars, raw honey has a low glycemic load when taken in moderation. It contains fructose and glucose in perfect balance, along with fiber-like compounds and phytonutrients that slow the absorption and buffer the insulin response. When taken in the morning or post-activity, especially with warm water or herbal tea, honey can actually stabilize blood sugar rather than spike it. And remember, your brain, your liver, and even your testicles need glucose, clean, natural glucose, to function optimally. Honey gives you that fuel in a form the body recognizes, accepts, and utilizes with precision. But perhaps the most underappreciated benefit of honey is how it influences your nervous system. It calms, it soothes, it lowers cortisol levels. And as I've told you before, cortisol is the enemy of testosterone. Chronic stress hijacks your hormones, constricts your blood vessels, and kills your libido. Honey, especially when taken at the start of your day, helps reverse that damage. It tells your nervous system, you're safe now. You can focus. You can heal. You can desire again. And isn't that what this is really about? Not just erections, not just energy, but the desire to feel again, to wake up with purpose, to look at your partner, not with dread or guilt, but with readiness, with presence. And honey can be a part of that return, a natural, beautiful, golden step back toward yourself. In the next block, I'm going to walk you through the best way to use honey daily, how much, when, and with what to support your testosterone, circulation, and mood without throwing off your balance. Let's get practical. Because knowing that honey is powerful is one thing, but understanding how to use it, that's where change really begins. The men who benefit the most from honey don't just consume it, they honor it. They treat it not like candy, not like comfort food, but like what it truly is: functional nourishment, a gift from nature with a purpose. So let me show you how to receive that gift properly, one spoonful at a time. First, let's talk about timing. When you consume honey matters, and for men over 60, I recommend taking it in the morning, preferably on an empty stomach or 30 minutes before breakfast. Why? Because that's when your cortisol is naturally highest. That's when your body is transitioning from a fasted, healing state into one of activity, decision-making, and energy production. A spoonful of raw honey at that time sends a signal to your brain. Fuel is here. You can relax. You can release testosterone. You can switch on. It's like turning the ignition key for your day. Another excellent time is after light physical activity, a walk, some stretching, or even intimacy. Your muscles and nervous system are activated, and honey provides gentle, natural glucose to replenish energy and stabilize blood sugar without crashing. Now, let's talk about quantity. You don't need much. In fact, less is more. 1 teaspoon, about 5 to 7 grams is plenty. If your honey is truly raw and unfiltered, it will be concentrated and medicinal. There's no benefit to large amounts. Overdoing it might spike your blood sugar and undo the balance we're trying to restore. If you want to be exact, use a small wooden spoon. Pour your honey slowly. Smell it. Let it move into your system with intention. This isn't fuel for the body only. It's nourishment for the soul. Now, what should you combine it with? For testosterone support, pair it with a glass of warm water and a pinch of cinnamon. This combination enhances insulin sensitivity, stimulates metabolism, and helps your cells receive the honey's nutrients efficiently. You can also add a slice of lemon to boost antioxidant absorption and further reduce inflammation. Another excellent combination: honey with a few soaked walnuts or almonds. The healthy fats help balance sugar release and support hormone production. Together, they create a slow-burning, hormone-friendly energy source that doesn't spike or crash. Want to boost nitric oxide even more? Add a teaspoon of fresh pomegranate juice or beetroot powder to your morning routine, along with honey. These support vasodilation, the widening of blood vessels, and when combined with honey's calming and hormone-regulating properties, they make a potent natural stack for male vitality. But perhaps the most important part of using honey well is mindset. Don't rush. Don't take it while checking emails. Don't swallow it in stress. Take a moment. Sit. Breathe. Look out the window. Let that small spoonful be your ceremony. This kind of ritual doesn't just feed your body, it reshapes your nervous system. It tells your entire organism that you're not in fight or flight anymore. You're present. You're in charge. You're tending to your own strength. And that shift changes everything. Now, some men ask me, "Doctor, can I take honey at night?" You can. In fact, a small amount of honey before bed, specially mixed with warm herbal tea like chamomile or ashwagandha, can lower cortisol, improve sleep depth, and protect against nighttime blood sugar dips that wake you up at 3 a.m. But if you're focused on testosterone and morning energy, I recommend the first dose upon waking as your core ritual. And remember, consistency is everything. Honey works best over time. You won't feel a miracle in 2 days, but give it a month. Track your mood, your energy, your intimacy, your clarity. You'll begin to notice the return of something you thought you'd lost. And as you rebuild that trust with your body, food stops being the enemy. It becomes an ally, a source of power. Let's talk about inflammation, not the kind that causes visible swelling or pain. I'm talking about the chronic, silent inflammation that builds up over decades inside your blood vessels, around your organs, deep in your joints and tissues. It doesn't scream, it whispers, slowly, relentlessly, and left unchecked, it drains your energy, dulls your focus, weakens your erections, and accelerates aging. Most men don't even know it's there. But if you feel stiff in the morning, if your hands swell, if you have trouble urinating at night, if your mind feels cloudy after meals, there's a high chance that chronic inflammation is playing a role. And this is where honey becomes more than sweet. It becomes a shield. Raw honey is rich in polyphenols, natural compounds that act like internal firefighters. They reduce oxidative stress, calm the immune system, and neutralize free radicals that damage your cells. These polyphenols go straight to the bloodstream, where they begin to repair the very lining of your blood vessels, the same lining responsible for smooth, healthy erections and proper circulation to the brain, heart, and yes, your reproductive system. You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. An erection is a circulatory event. If your blood isn't flowing, your desire has nowhere to go. And most circulation issues start with inflammation inside the arteries, not outside the body, but within. That's why men who consume raw honey regularly see improvements in blood pressure, nitric oxide levels, and vascular tone. It's not just the sweetness, it's the cellular conversation that honey initiates in your body. And this matters even more as we age. Because after 60, Your body becomes more sensitive to inflammatory triggers, processed food, stress, sedentary lifestyle, alcohol, poor sleep. These are the enemies of blood flow. But honey, when used correctly, becomes one of your greatest allies. Now, let's go deeper into a topic few want to talk about, but many suffer from: prostate health. The prostate is a small gland, but it casts a large shadow. It's involved in everything from urination to ejaculation to hormone balance. And yet, most men don't support it until something goes wrong. Enlarged prostate, nighttime urination, weak flow, pressure, discomfort. These are the signs. And they're often ignored and they can't be anymore. Here's where honey steps in again. Raw honey contains chrysin, a natural flavonoid known to help regulate testosterone and reduce aromatase activity, the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. When estrogen rises to high in aging men, it often contributes to prostate inflammation and enlargement. By gently supporting testosterone balance and reducing oxidative stress in the prostate tissue, honey may help reduce discomfort, improve urinary flow, and even support overall gland health over time. It's not a drug, it's not a quick fix, but it is natural, support steady, safe, and time-tested. I've seen men who struggled for years with urinary frequency, with slow stream, with embarrassment, and when they began supporting their prostate with anti-inflammatory foods, especially honey, turmeric, zinc-rich, seeds like pumpkin and sesame, their symptoms softened, their sleep improved, their confidence returned. Because let's face it, no man wants to feel like his body is betraying him. No man wants to live chained to the bathroom at night. No man wants to lose intimacy because of discomfort or fear. And you don't have to. Your body still responds. Your tissues still heal. Your blood still flows. You just need to give it the right signal. Not through aggression, but through nourishment. So when you take that spoon of honey tomorrow morning, I want you to see it differently. Not as something indulgent, not as something sweet, but as medicine for your blood, as relief for your prostate, as a message to your body that inflammation doesn't run the show anymore. Now let's go deeper into synergy. Because while honey on its own is powerful, something extraordinary happens when you combine it with the right natural allies. You don't just add benefits, you multiply them. You create a formula, a living, breathing ritual of healing that works with your biology, not against it. Let me show you how to build that formula. First on the list, ginger. Fresh ginger root, grated or sliced, steeped in warm water with a spoon of raw honey. This is one of the most powerful circulation tonics known to man. Ginger is a natural vasodilator. It warms the blood, stimulates nitric oxide, reduces inflammation, and supports digestion. When combined with honey, it becomes a male performance elixir. I recommend this, especially in the morning or before intimacy. It calms the nerves, wakes up the blood, and clears mental fog. Just boil a few slices of ginger in water, let it cool slightly, add a teaspoon of honey, and sip slowly. Next, cinnamon. This ancient spice is more than flavor. It helps regulate blood sugar, reduce insulin resistance, and improve vascular tone. That means better energy, better metabolism, and better hormonal response. Just a pinch of Ceylon cinnamon mixed with honey creates a paste that you can spread on a slice of banana, apple, or whole grain toast. You're not just snacking, you're tuning your endocrine system. And for men over 60, that matters. Your metabolism isn't as forgiving as it once was. But when you stabilize your blood sugar, everything improves. Mood, stamina, libido, and even sleep. Now let's add a classic, garlic. I know it's not romantic, but raw garlic, when crushed and left to rest for 10 minutes, releases allicin, a compound that supports heart health, lowers blood pressure, and improves blood flow. Combine that with honey. You've got an ancient remedy for circulation and immune strength. Here's a simple method. Crush 1 clove of garlic, let it rest, mix with a spoon of honey, and swallow it like a shot once or twice a week. It's not about taste, it's about results. And for men looking to support testosterone and reproductive health, few things are as potent as This adaptogenic herb has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries to restore male vitality, balance stress hormones, and enhance libido. When taken with warm water and a small spoon of honey, ashwagandha becomes more bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs and uses it more efficiently. You can take it in powder or capsule form, but always pair it with honey and hydration. It works better when combined with nourishment. Another favorite of mine, turmeric, especially for men with joint pain, stiffness, or inflammatory prostate symptoms. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, needs fat and pepper to be absorbed, but when you add honey into the mix, it smooths digestion and enhances the anti-inflammatory power. Make a golden tonic, warm almond or oat milk, half a teaspoon of turmeric, a dash of black pepper, and a spoon of raw honey. Drink it before bed. Your joints will thank you. So will your nervous system. And don't forget bee pollen. Yes, bee pollen. Often overlooked, this golden powder is packed with amino acids, enzymes, B vitamins, and micronutrients that support stamina, hormone production, and cellular repair. Sprinkle a small amount over your yogurt or oatmeal alongside your honey. It's like upgrading your breakfast into a functional meal. The beauty of these combinations is not just in the nutrients, it's in the ritual. Every time you stir that spoon, every time you pause before you sip, every time you choose honey over processed sugar, herbs over chemicals, calm over chaos, you're sending a message to your body. The message is, I trust you. I believe in your ability to heal. I'm no longer fighting you. I'm working with you now. And that shift, that's what wakes up the fire again. Not just physically, but emotionally. You begin to see yourself not as someone managing decline, but as someone orchestrating a return. Let me take you into the morning, not the kind where you rush out of bed, scan your phone, swallow your pills, and move through the day half awake. I'm talking about a different kind of morning, deliberate one, a sacred one where your first act is not reaction, but restoration. You see, most men over 60 have forgotten what it feels like to start the day with power. And I don't mean loud, muscular power. I mean internal alignment, when your hormones, blood flow, nervous system, and thoughts are working together instead of fighting each other. This is where the morning honey ritual comes in. It begins with stillness. Wake up. Don't grab your phone. Don't talk yet. Sit at the edge of your bed. Place both feet on the floor. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose. Count to 4. Hold, exhale slowly to a count of 6. Repeat that 5 times. This calms your cortisol response. It prepares your nervous system for nourishment. Then, move to your kitchen or your quiet corner. Prepare your ritual with care, like you're about to feed something sacred. Because you are. Take a small glass of warm water, not hot. Add a teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey. Stir slowly. This isn't just a drink. It's a signal to your digestive system, your liver, your brain, your blood. Now add something extra, depending on your needs. A pinch of cinnamon if your blood sugar tends to swing. A splash of lemon juice to support your liver and antioxidant levels. A small slice of ginger if circulation is your focus. Or ashwagandha powder if you want to balance stress and libido. Sit. Don't stand. Hold the glass with both hands. Breathe again. Drink slowly. Let the warmth move through you. This act does more than hydrate it. Activates your metabolism. Stimulates nitric oxide production. Supports hormone balance. And tells your system that it's safe to release testosterone instead of hoarding cortisol. After your honey tonic, move your body. Just 10 minutes. You don't need a gym. Walk barefoot around the house. Step outside and stretch your arms. Do slow shoulder rolls, gentle squats, pelvic tilts. Wake up your hips. Bring awareness to your legs. Touch your own chest with your palm. Breathe if you can. Do this in sunlight. Let it touch your skin, especially your face and neck. Morning sunlight is a natural hormonal regulator. It helps reset your circadian rhythm, supports testosterone production, and boosts mood-enhancing serotonin. Combine that light with movement and honey, and you've created a perfect masculine storm. Energy, stability, and clarity. Then, Take a moment to affirm your presence. This can be a prayer, a few words of gratitude, or a simple phrase you repeat to yourself. I am strong. I honor this body. I move with clarity and calm. I return to myself, one breath at a time. Write it down, if you like. Keep it in your pocket. Let it echo inside you throughout the day. All of this breath, honey, movement, sunlight, presence can be done in 20 minutes or less. And yet, it sets the tone for everything that follows. Your blood will flow differently. Your posture will shift. Your mind will be clearer. Your cravings will be quieter. Your sense of control will return. And you'll walk into your day not surviving it, but shaping it. This isn't about perfection. It's about practice. One morning, then another, until your nervous system begins to expect peace, until your hormones begin to respond with strength, until your partner begins to notice you standing taller, until you begin to recognize yourself again. There comes a point in every man's life, usually sometime after 60, when the body begins to speak in ways it never did before. It whispers through fatigue. It hums through forgotten desire. It sighs through the ache in your knees or the weight in your chest when you lie awake at night, wondering if the best of your life has already passed. And if no one has ever said this to you before, let me be the first. You are not past your prime. You are standing at the edge of your real prime. Because everything up until now, your strength, your ambition, your youth, was a preparation for this chapter. The chapter where you get to decide, once and for all, who you want to become. Not just what you do, but who you are. Not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. And I know, it's not easy. The world doesn't always celebrate older men. It tells you to slow down, step aside, fade out quietly. It praises youth, noise, speed. But what the world forgets is this. There is power in stillness. There is fire in presence. There is wisdom in patience. There is energy in truth. And when you begin to take care of yourself, not with desperation, not with ego, but with quiet, steady devotion, something starts to change. That spoon of honey in the morning, it's not just fuel, it's a message to your brain that says, I'm here. A message to your blood that says, flow again. A message to your heart that says, let's try again. Because you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel pleasure. You deserve to wake up without shame, without fear, without that silent voice that says, it's too late. It's not too late. It never was. Because what you need is not to return to who you were. What you need is to become who you were meant to be now, fully, freely, with no more hiding. That's what healing is. Not reversing time, but redeeming it. And when you give your body real food, real rest, real rituals, it remembers. It remembers how to produce testosterone. It remembers how to flow blood to the places you thought had forgotten you. It remembers desire. It remembers drive. And more importantly, you remember yourself. You remember what it feels like to want again, to care again, to show up again not just for others, but for you. You start to take care of your appearance again. You start to enjoy preparing your meals again. You begin to notice how your body responds, not with fear or frustration, but with respect. Your partner will notice. Your posture will shift. Your voice will carry differently. Because this is no longer about trying to fix a problem. It's about reclaiming your place in the world. Let's be honest, no supplement, no gym, no pill can give you what this kind of inner shift gives you. Because when a man moves through his life from a place of embodied, nourished awareness, he becomes magnetic, not just sexually, spiritually. He walks like a king, but doesn't need a crown. He leads with his presence, not with his pride. He becomes attractive not because of age or muscle but because he is whole. And it all begins with one small act. A spoon of honey, a moment of breath, a step outside, a choice to rise instead of retreat. You are not alone. You are not done. You are not too late. You are right on time to become the man you've always had the potential to be. Let's talk about something tender. Because all this work you've been doing, breathing, nourishing, moving, waking up early, Choosing honey over habitat doesn't only affect your energy or your hormones. It affects how you love. It affects how you touch, how you listen, how you enter a room, how your partner feels when you look at them. You see, desire is not just physical. It's relational. It's emotional. It's spiritual. And for many men, after 60, desire becomes complicated not because it disappears, but because it disconnects. Disconnection creates distance. Distance becomes silence, and silence becomes walls. Walls between your body and your heart. Walls between your partner and your presence. Walls between the man you are and the man you long to be again. But here's the beautiful truth. Walls can come down, and often it starts within you before it ever involves your partner. Because when a man begins to care for himself, not selfishly, but attentively, his energy shifts. He walks differently. He speaks differently. He becomes safer, stronger, more magnetic, not through force, but through peace. And your partner feels that. She notices when your eyes meet hers with focus again. She feels it when your hands are no longer distracted, but present. She hears it in your voice when you speak not to impress, but to connect. And connection, my friend, is the true foundation of intimacy. You may have spent years thinking that libido was about testosterone alone, or that performance was a mechanical event. But I'll tell you what I've learned. Sitting across from thousands of men and couples over the years, the most powerful aphrodisiac is emotional safety. And that begins with you feeling safe in your own skin again. When you nourish your body with honey in the morning, when you move gently, when you sleep better, when your hormones balance and your inflammation fades, you stop fighting your body. You start trusting it. That trust becomes confidence. That confidence becomes tenderness. And that tenderness becomes intimacy. You stop touching to prove. You start touching to feel. You stop avoiding conversation. You begin leaning into it. You stop hiding the parts of you that feel uncertain. And you start inviting your partner to see all of you with no shame. And for many couples, this is the beginning of a second honeymoon. Not wild, not frantic, but deeper, more honest, more sacred. And sometimes, it starts with a ritual you share. A morning walk, a shared cup of tea, a conversation about how your body is changing, an invitation to your partner. Come with me. Let's feel good again. Together. You don't have to fix everything before love returns. You just have to open, start showing up, start tending to the flame again. That one spoon of honey in your cup, offer it to her, too. Make it something shared. Make your healing visible, not hidden. Let her see you rising. Let her see you choosing. Let her see you fully, calmly, without armor. Because she has her fears too, her insecurities, her changes. And when she sees you facing yours with grace, she feels safe to meet you there. That's what intimacy becomes after 60. Not fire that burns fast and vanishes, but embers that glow steadily, that warm everything around them, that ask for nothing but presence, breath, and truth. And that's what this journey is truly about. You've come a long way. From the first spoon of honey to the morning breath, the stillness, the movement. You've begun to build something most men only talk about. A life that feels aligned, a body that feels respected, a rhythm that honors your years instead of resisting them. But here's the truth I need to tell you now. Change doesn't last just because it feels good once. It lasts because you protect it. This isn't about chasing perfection or following strict rules. It's about finding what works for you staying loyal to it, not out of pressure, but out of quiet commitment to yourself. The most powerful men I've worked with over the years aren't the ones with the strictest routines or the most expensive supplements. They're the ones who chose to repeat simple acts of self-care, day after day, even when no one else was watching. They're the ones who understood that discipline doesn't need to be harsh, it needs to be consistent. That's the kind of strength that doesn't fade, and consistency comes from rhythm, not rigidity. You don't need to wake up at the same time every day or track every detail. What you need is to protect your mornings. You need to begin each day with something that grounds you, a ritual that reminds your nervous system who you are and what matters. Keep your routine simple. Don't overload it. One act of nourishment is enough. One breath, one cup of honey water, one stretch near the window. That's your anchor. Let that act carry weight, not because of its complexity, but because of your attention. There will be days when it feels easy, when your energy is high and the mirror smiles back. And there will be days when your body feels heavy, your motivation low. Those days matter too. In fact, those are the days your discipline becomes love. The days when showing up for yourself, even quietly, speaks volumes to your spirit. When you take your morning honey, do it as if it matters, because it does. When you move, even for 5 minutes, do it as if your future depends on it, because in many ways, it does. When you choose a moment of calm, before the noise of the world enters, treat that silence like a sacred space. That's where healing begins. And as you build this life, don't expect fireworks. Expect foundation. Expect steadiness. Expect the kind of changes that don't shout, but whisper. You'll notice it in the way you breathe, in how you react to stress, in the clarity of your thoughts, in the way your body starts to feel like home again. You'll also begin to notice how others respond to your shift. Your partner may lean in more often. Conversations may feel lighter. Younger men may ask you questions they never asked before. They'll see something in you, something grounded, strong, and quiet-tanned. They'll want to know where it came from. It came from choosing yourself, from doing something small, over and over, until it became who you are. And when the time comes, that doubt creeps in. When the progress feels slow, remember what brought you here. Remember the first spark that made you pause and listen to this journey. Remember that this isn't just about erections or hormones or energy. It's about returning to the kind of man who knows his worth not because others validate it, but because he lives it every day. You've proven to yourself that change is possible. Now, make it permanent, not through force, but through rhythm, not through goals, but through values. Wake up each day and choose peace over pressure. Choose care over chaos. Choose your own body as a place of safety and strength. In the final block, I'll speak directly to your heart, a closing message for the man you've become and the life you're still shaping with each breath, each choice, and each quiet morning you claim as your own. If you've come this far, I want you to pause for a moment and breathe. Feel that. That's you, present, listening, awake. It's not the honey. It's not the herbs. It's not even the rituals. It's you choosing to care, choosing to return, choosing to say, I'm not done yet, because you're not. You are not the sum of your past habits. You are not the weight of your regrets. You are not the number on your lab results, or the time on your clock, or the lines on your face. You are a man who decided to begin again. And that, my friend, is everything. You see, most men wait until something breaks, until something scares them, until someone else pushes them. But not you. You came here, you listened, you asked questions. You stepped into your own healing not from fear, but from desire. The desire to live well, to feel strong, to be proud again. And that choice changes everything. Because this isn't about fixing what's broken. This is about remembering what was always there. Your energy, your clarity, your depth, your ability to love and lead with calm, with power, with truth. The honey is just a mirror. It reflects your decision to nourish rather than neglect, to tend rather than abandon, to honor your body, not because it's perfect, but because it's yours, and it still responds to care. So as you move forward, don't look for perfection. Look for rhythm. Look for those quiet moments in your morning where the breath feels deeper, where your step feels stronger, where your partner smiles back and sees the fire returning to your eyes. That's the real goal, not performance, not youth, but vitality. Vitality that comes from balance, from kindness, from knowing that you no longer need to prove anything, only to show up fully, honestly, every day. And yes, there will be days when you forget, days when you slip, days when you feel tired or frustrated or stuck. That's okay. That's part of being alive. But now, you have the tools, the knowledge, the experience, and most of all the memory of how good it feels to choose yourself. Return to it again and again. No shame, no guilt, just presence. A spoon of honey in the morning, a moment of breath, a walk, a glance in the mirror that says, I remember who I am. And who are you? You are a man of wisdom, a man of feeling, a man of restoration, a man who turns sweetness into strength and aging into awakening. This is your time, not to chase the past, but to rise in the present, not to fade away, but to burn brighter, quieter, wiser, deeper. So as I close this message to you, I ask only one thing: keep going, not for anyone else, not for applause, not for reward, but because you have decided to live these next years as a man who is alive in his body, clear in his heart, and calm in his strength. You are not finished. You are becoming. And I'll be here whenever you need to remember that again.